Hello and welcome to another video by ES Repair. I am your host, Mr. Fix-It. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace a ballast in a fluorescent lighting fixture. And it's fairly simple. Now they do last for quite some time. This one's been installed for about 13 years and they're starting to go bad. I've already had one replaced because it went bad. So I'm going to show you how to do these. And what you'll need to do is you'll need to get the information off of here, which I'll show you later on in this video about the information on these ballasts that you need to have. Other things that you're going to need is the replacement ballast. This is going to be the new ballast that you're going to install. You're going to need a package of wire nuts. These are the orange ones. They can handle between 22 up to 14 gauge wire. You'll need a pack of these. You'll also need a voltage tester. Now this right here is a simple voltage tester. You just stick it near a wire and it will tell you if there's voltage in it or not. I've used this before in other videos, like one I did for Christmas. These come in handy. You're also going to need some wire cutters, a flat screwdriver, or perhaps a 1/4 inch socket. You're also going to need some wire strippers to strip the wires. And that's basically all you're going to need. Now you do need to make sure that you get the proper ballast for your lighting fixture. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how to replace the ballast. Now this is the fluorescent light that I'm going to change out the ballast in, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Now most of these, they just have some clips that you can slide off the cover. And you have to be careful, you don't want to break anything because these covers can be pretty fragile. Now with the cover off, you do want to make sure that all the power is out, and what we're going to do is we're going to take off the bulbs. Now to do that you just have to turn them 1/4 of a turn in one direction to line them up. Now once they're lined up in a single line, you can take the bulb down. Now this is the same thing you could do if you have to replace the bulbs, which I'll show you here how to take them out and how to put them back in. Now you'll notice over here, you probably can't see it yet, but I'll give you a closer look here later on, these connectors and sockets. So let's go ahead and get the bulbs removed. When you get them removed, put them in a real safe place because you don't want to damage them. Now this is a closer look. This right here is the cover. You've got these little nipples right here that sits here, and what they do is most of these will either be screwed in or they can just be squeezed and popped out. Now this one here, all I have to do is just squeeze them to get the ends together and it pops out. And you have to do this at both ends because you got this one here, there's one over here in the center, and you got one over there on the other end. So what you'll do is just squeeze them together. There we go. Now with the cover off, you can see the ballast. This right here is the ballast. This is what runs the lights. Now the newer ones that you're replacing with, you'll need to get a good look at the diagram on here. This will show you the type and the power of this inverter, or the ballast here. Now when you get another ballast, you'll want to make sure that all the information is correct. The newer one have a lot of information on it that allows you to work with the ballast. Now this one here is a lot smaller. This is an electronic ballast. This one here is the old ones. These are the transformer types. And they run at a 60 hertz, but some of the older ones you may have noticed they do make a humming noise. Well, with these newer ones that I have here, these are switching. They switch at a higher frequency so you don't hear the hum. Now, as you can see here, they clearly are two different sizes, which comes in handy because these are all universal, and you can fit them into the proper slot. But as you can see, there's a huge difference. Now, the newer ones are much more energy efficient than the older ones. Now, here you'll see where it's mounted. It's got this plug, this screw here. It's got a screw here. You'll see over here you got these clamps that sits out here at the top. That's where I'm going to clamp the new one to. Now, you'll notice with the ballast here, it's got a set of blue wires, a set of red wires. Back here, it's got a set of black and a white wire, and it's got a set of yellow wires. Now, because this is a rapid start, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is take this ballast out, cut the wires here, and then patch them back with the new ballast here. And I'll show you how to do that. Now, before you begin cutting wires, again, you want to make sure that the power is disconnected. You can use one of these voltage sensors. You don't have to do any testing or anything. Just stick it next to a live wire, and it will tell you, it lights up if there's power, or it be like it is now to let you know that everything is dead. You want to make sure that the power is completely turned off before you go in and start cutting wires. Now, once you have your blue wires, the red wires, and over here you have the yellow wires cut, you can go ahead and unhook the main power line to your black ballast, and you'll see a screw on each side. Just remove the screw and take the ballast off. Now, on the ballast, when you check the labels, when you replace them, you want to make sure that you get the correct type of ballast. There are different ones. You have them for preheat lamps, you have them for instant start, and you have the rapid starts. Now, this one here in particular is a rapid start, and you can tell by the wiring of the ballast. It shows how the wiring of the lamps are connected together. Now, on the right, you should also see the standards. Now, this is a maximum of 40 watts. This can use up to a T12 light bulb up to 4 feet. And you want to make sure that your new ballast does meet the specifications of the old one. Now, this is the new one that I showed earlier. This is the switching one. As you can see, it's much smaller and thinner, a lot lighter weight. You can see that it says T12, and this is to let you know this is the type of bulb that it's designed for. And you also show the same wiring diagram as the old one. Now, you also see the same features of the regulations. The power wattage and everything, this again can go up to a 40 watt. It shows you how much power it can drain. And as I said, you want to make sure that the new ballast matches the same old ballast in wiring and power rating. Now, the first thing we're going to do now is we're going to replace it with the new ballast. You have the lips over here, which we can just easily slip that in there, just like that. Now, we take the screw that we took out of the first ballast, and we're going to place it into the new one. Now, once you have the ballast installed, the next thing you're going to do is you need to strip the wires. When you strip the wires, you need to not do too much, just a little bit. It's about 1/8 of an inch. that you want to strip. You don't need a lot of bare wire, because what we're going to do is use a wire nut to tie these together. Now, as you can see, I did take the liberty to cut the ballast wires. The reason I did that is because when you get these, they come with very long wires, and depending on the length of your fluorescent lighting fixture, you may not need it all. Now, to make it more compact and easier to handle, I went ahead and cut the extra length off. Now, what I did is I wanted to make sure that I cut them off long enough and be able to have enough slack, so when I put the cover on, the cover will come all the way to the end, but I want to make sure there's enough slack to where there's no tight bends or anything on the wiring, and it has enough slack to make it work correctly. You never want to have too much tightness to the wires or sharp bends, because it can break the wires. Now, as you can see here, I went ahead and cut these to the lengths that I needed, where I have enough slack and I can easily handle them while I tie the wire nuts. And I've already got the wire stripped. Now all I got to do is put the wire nuts on. And what you can do is you can take one of the wire, you want to line them up just even enough, slide the wire nut on, and then twist them like so. And as you can see here, I got plenty of slack here, so when I put the cover on, then I have enough room to place the wires and stuff. So now you want to do the red wires, match them up. There's no certain way, just match the colors up. The blue ones, and of course the yellow ones on the other end. Now that you have the wires connected and you got nothing exposed, you got the yellow wires all tied in, you have the main lines here tied in, now it's ready to put the cover back on. Now, as you can see, before we put the cover on, I have everything tucked away and enough slack to allow the wire to freely travel. Nothing's in a pinch or in a bind. Now I can just put the cover on. Now I can just squeeze it. And there we go. Now, as you can see, I do have plenty of slack in here to where there's no kinks or any tight wires. Everything is neatly packed away. And I don't have any bulging wires from the ends. Nothing's pinched. Because you want to make sure that when you put these together that you don't have any wires caught or being pinched. Because the metal can pinch the wires and then you short out and you ruin your new ballast. Or you throw a breaker. Now to put the bowls back in, you'll notice that they have the prongs here. Now each end has the same prongs. Now you also want to look up here and you're going to see these little notches. That's where the prongs will go in. You'll see that when they go in, you want to line them up just like that, and then slide them up into the slot that you see in the socket and push it all the way to the end. And then once you're all the way to the end, you twist it and it will lock them into place and have them touching the sides. So now you got to be careful. You don't want to use too much force. Now once they're all the way in, you just give it a quarter turn. And they're locked into place. Now, once you have your bowls back into place, now you can go ahead and turn the power back on and give it a test. When you flip the switch, it should instantly come on. Just as you should see here. And you don't see any flickering, you don't hear any humming. Now, what we're going to do next is put the cover on. And again, you just simply, most of these will just slide on. And you want to catch it and then slide them on. And there you go. Now, you have your cover back on. And it's ready to go. Now you just flip the switch. And you still have everything working. Well, I'm your host, Mr. Fix-It. I hope this video was helpful in changing the ballast in your fluorescent lighting fixture. If you have any questions or problems, feel free to contact me. And hope this video helps you out. Well, thank you. I'm your host, Mr. Fix-It by ES Repair. Thank you for watching.